r/confessions. My mom knew more about women than incels do. First off, I wanna say I used to be an incel. I no longer am, thankfully. I was an incel from the ages of 15 to about 18. I was really deep into inceldom and the black pill during those 3 years. I'd watch all these online videos about it, I'd go on incel forum pages, etc. I never inflicted any type of violence in real life, however. Background check: I grew up in a small town and I was homeschooled my whole life. I grew up in a house with my mom, dad, 3 brothers, and a sister, so it was a very male-centric household and I didn't know any women. To this day I still don't know any in real life, but I digress. I went to YouTube to learn about women since I knew basically nothing. I believed everything incels said about women, that they wanted a man who was rich, has a six-pack and a 10-inch penis. Because that's what incels say is the ultimate Chad. I thought they would tolerate any type of BS as long as you were a Chad. When I was an incel I was a skinny idiot, had no muscle on me, only thing I had was my height going for me. I started working out hard in the gym to get in shape and get girls, and aside from a few more nods and eye contact, no girls asked me out, so I was a little disappointed and felt misguided. I have a pretty good physique too. I wouldn't say I'm a Chad, but you can definitely tell I lift and I look a lot better than a lot of guys with GFS. This made me begin to ask my mom questions about how to get women and what they liked. She would tell me that they cared about personality more than looks, and getting muscles isn't gonna just get women to like you. She also said if you act like a jerk they'll be turned off no matter how good you look. Then she went on about being ambitious, maturity, empathy and emotional availability being much more important. I didn't believe her because it sounded too easy. Also, the content I watched always said women don't know what they want and men know better. Also, I'm a pretty sensitive guy who can also be ambitious. Those are traits my mom taught me to have and that I always had. I didn't have to do any work to have those mental traits, so it seemed too easy to be true. A few years passed by and I was sort of 1 foot in 1 foot out of the red pill mentality. I watched it occasionally, but I was no longer actively a part of it. Then I got the idea of using Reddit to ask questions and learn about women. I figured they don't know me, so there's no risk of them telling me what I want to hear like my mom could have been doing. They essentially say a lot of the same exact things my mom told me in high school when I was an active incel. So now I pretty much admitted I should have just listened to my mother and I wouldn't have had to go through all that trouble I did for 6 to 7 years. I'm 22 now. I went through a lot of mental and emotional pain as an incel and then red pill man. Being an incel or taking the red pill not fun. Having these thoughts in your head is depressing. If you're an incel, my advice is to listen to your mother because they know more about women than incel YouTubers. I stole tens of thousands of dollars worth of precious stones. Many years ago, well past the statute of limitations, I worked in a cash for gold shop buying gold to be sent off to scrap. The owner was an idiot, and a racist. He was only fixated on the scrap gold price of everything. Before sending anything away to the smelters to be refined, part of my job would be to take tools and destroy all the jewelry before sending it off. They were convinced we had to do this, or else the smelters would try and resell the jewelry instead of melting it. Why that mattered to him I never understood. Any stones over 0.5 CT he would have me try and pry out and save for him, but anything smaller they told me to not waste my time, and to just destroy them with the jewelry. Every day I would be destroying all these beautiful, and still quite valuable diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. The only thing ever tracked was the original weight of the jewelry at purchase, and the weight after with all the stones removed, ready to be mailed off. The destroyed stones were never weighed, just discarded. We would often have people from a few different India-based jewelry companies come in and offer to buy our stones from us, but the owner was really racist and to their faces would say they'd rather smash them up than sell them to you people. One day when breaking everything down, I started to take care to remove these smaller stones, instead of Hulk smash, destroying them, and I'd slide them off to the side of this tray I'd work over. Then when wheeling that cart back to the safe, I knew where the blind spots in the cameras were, and I would quickly pocket all these salvaged stones while obscured. The next time they came in offering to buy stones, and I was alone, I got their card. Quite literally like something out of a movie, I would meet them in whatever cheap hotel room they were renting while in town, and would exchange tissue paper wrapped bundles of these ill-gotten stones for stacks of $100 bills. Over the following few years working there, I was able to make and save up enough to later on buy a new car, pay for my honeymoon, make a down payment on a house, and pay off some student debt. I'm now a boring middle-class dad with an upper-level white-collar career, with this as my only experience with crime. I won a Jeep but threw it away. When I was 12, in the mid-90s, I used to walk to the local market with a friend and buy a drink or a snack every so often. One day, I bought a Snapple. I noticed that they were running a new contest that seemed like kind of a joke, similar to their later Win Nothing contest. My cap said I'd won a Jeep, but because of the name of the contest, I thought it wasn't real. I threw away the cap in the municipal trash can outside the store. The next week, I went back and got another Snapple. This time, the cap said something along the lines of better luck next time, and I felt my heart sink. Every other Snapple I bought after that said the same thing. I felt like a complete idiot, and I still do whenever this comes to mind. My sex life is about the only thing keeping my relationship afloat. I'll start off by saying my man isn't a looker. He's tall and slim, and that I like LOL. I've had a lot of critics tell me I can get me a lot better. I most likely can, but I've formed a bond with this man. I feel like I do love him. He isn't that bright. I guess I felt bad for him when he told me the story of his mom not caring and him not being able to read until his neighbors taught him. He had a slight stutter when I met him, but I boosted his confidence and his stutter is almost non-existent. His communication is poor. We argue over stuff all the time because he doesn't know how to properly communicate how he feels or what he thinks, and it just comes out the wrong way at times. He lies a lot. In his defense though, his mom did have him lie almost his entire life and pretend he was her brother instead of son. So I assume it must be ingrained in him to lie. Not sure if this one is a big deal or if I'm just being a bitch, but he makes a lot less than me. I've tried helping him get better jobs, but he doesn't want hard slave jobs as he calls them. That being construction or warehouse jobs. I tried getting him back into school, but he insists that isn't going to help and it's boring. But, our sex life is amazing. I learned how to suck dick on him. I learned how to take it in the ass with him. I learned how to orgasm with him. I taught him how to eat pussy the right way. We are always ready no matter the place or time. I just love the intensity in his look when we are fucking, just thinking about it sends chills down my spine. I love the way he can be emotional and he isn't embarrassed to cry to me or in front of me. I love that raw emotion. I'm not going to break up with this man because it's been almost 10 years. I sometimes have thoughts about seeing other people, I'm bi, but it quickly dies down. A woman can fantasize LOL. Just had to get this off my chest. Not sure if others are in the same boat as me or if I'm in a canoe. I think I might be autistic, but I'm too scared to find out. Basically late 2022 the possibility of being autistic came up between my best friend and I, 19F. Ever since then, I've been researching and finding a lot of similarities between me and symptoms of autism, but I'm too scared and embarrassed to actually get tested. My best friend is really convinced I am, and my mom and grandma aren't against the idea that I am either. My grandma even said that it explains a lot about me, and my mom has sent me some videos that she says reminds her of me. I also have another friend who is on the spectrum that thinks it's possible that I am as well. The thing is, I brought it up during my first visit with my new doctor because he was getting to know me and wanted to know any concerns. My mom said I should ask him about it, so I did. he immediately shot me down and said he doesn't think so, and basically that everyone else's opinions aren't all that because they're not doctors. Which is understandable. I felt really silly, and now I don't want to get tested at all. My friend said I shouldn't let it get to me because that was literally his first time meeting me. Some part of me is really scared of bringing up the idea of being autistic and then having it turn out I'm not. I'm absolutely not trying to get attention or anything from this, I'm just trying to figure myself out. I have a list of all the symptoms I identify with, but I'm not really going to put it here since the point of this post is not convincing everyone that I am. Another thing that makes me not want to test at all is when I don't experience something that officially diagnosed autistic people do. I know everything with autism is a spectrum and every individual is different, but I can't help but think that if I don't do that then I must not be, and I'm just lying to myself. It's just been such a big question in the back of my mind. An official evaluation would really put a lot of things to rest, but I just can't bring myself to. I just want to clarify again that none of this is for attention or because it's a trend. This is a genuine concern with months and months of research and speculation.